Hey, top of the morning to you. Today, we want to welcome you back to our podcast, A Year of Much Learning. Today, we're on book 136. This book is probably a different type of direction than the last two books, but I'll let
Yeah.
Chris introduce and we can discuss his reflection.
It's funny at this time of the journey, the reflections, you're starting to see the new books that I finished mixed in with old books that I had read. The two previous books before that, I was on a roll where I'd finished three
Right.
books in a row. So if you don't see it, or if I know that there wasn't an old previous book mixed in, that means I just had back to back to back finished these books like day after day after day kind of thing. I was
Mhm.
writing the next morning, or it was like the weekend, and then I finished it and it ended on Friday and started on Monday, the next writing session. Anyway, long story short, you're right. Coming off the backs of The Power of Regret, then When Breath Becomes Air, that I needed a walk in the woods. Like I needed time to just, really a little lightness in my life, something to just lighten my spirits a little bit. And there was nothing better that I could imagine than a good Bill Bryson book, right?
Yeah.
So Bill always, lightens my spirits, I guess, in general. And I don't know why we've talked about this before, but he's just one of my favorite writers, and I know you and really enjoy him too. It just feels like effortless as you glide through a journey with him, even though you're learning
Mhm.
so much, but you don't really like. It's not like you're learning so much that it's like packing into your head and you're trying to process it. It's like listening to Jeopardy or something like that, where you don't have to care, but he's weaving a good story around it while you're learning and absorbing stuff. He does a really good job of what he does. This particular book was called A Walk in the Woods, Rediscovering America on the Appalachian Trail by Bill Bryson. The reflection title of this is We Tried, and I will explain what I mean by that. But first, a quick description of the book. Bill walked the Appalachian Trail. He had a goal, right? Like he wanted to walk the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. That was his intention initially. And, he wanted to reconnect with nature and just go out there and do this thing. So he didn't really have a lot of experience or anything like that, but he decided this is what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to go figure this out. So he was going to do it alone, but then one of his friends that he told us about, like that he hadn't really seen for a really long time, his name was Stephen Katz. He was like, I'll do it with you. And he was like, really? And he goes, are you sure? Like this guy was like really out of shape. And I think he was like a smoker, like, it was like a recovering alcoholic. This guy's life was a bit kind of in the shitters, what it sounds like from the description of him. He was certainly a character that didn't sound like he was cut out for this kind of stuff, but he was like, hey, we'll see what happens. So Katz ended up joining Bill on this hike through the Appalachian Trail. And the story is about their experience together, what they experienced, what they learned, overcoming some challenges, exploring America through the Appalachian Trail. And yeah, it was an interesting, fun book. It was a good one. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people. Any questions so far?
No?
Okay. So the reflection is called We Tried, right? A few months back, we had talked about this book. It was probably one of the first reflections we did. It was like book number 11 or something like that. It was called The Rise of the Ultramarathoners. Do you remember that book? Okay. So that book was about the grueling sport of ultramarathon racing, right? Like those people are wild, they're crazy. It's an insane sport, culture, and really just activity. I mean, like, it's crazy. So if you remember the reflection from that one, it was you'll regret it if you drop out, right? And that came from the author of the book. He was on the middle of his one of like the most grueling ultramarathon in the world, the Mont Blanc race or whatever, and he got to the point in time where he hit what they call the pain cave, right? Which is the pain cave for these ultra marathoners is when like your body and your mind just are telling you you cannot take another step forward. And every ultra marathoner apparently, hits this pain cave. Most of them actually look forward to the pain cave, right? Like that's kind of their that's their junkies for the pain cave, right? A lot of times they relish the fact when I get into this, like now I get to try to now the fun really starts, right? We're 50 miles into a race and I'm just hurting, I can't go any further, and they're like, now this is like what ultra marathon racing is all about, right? So pushing through that pain cave is what, and the author talked about it a lot. And that was where the reflection, you'll regret it if you drop out, because the human body and mind are incredible, as we've talked about on this journey. Enduring through things and being able to push through is one of those characteristics of humanity that's pretty incredible. And I'm blessed to be able to say that that's in all of us if we really want to access that. However, if you flip the whole entire equation to the other end of the spectrum, you'll get Bill and Katz on their journey through the Appalachian Trail. So these guys have no idea what the hell they're doing. They're fat, they're out of shape, they've never done any hiking, they've never done any real camping, they've never done anything. Like, I mean, they went to the store right before this journey and they bought all this random crap and loaded up all this pack with like, way too heavy and brought too much food and yeah, it was just comical. They didn't know what they were doing, and that's okay. Like, they started out, they learned along the way. Their journey started out where they were in Georgia and they got to Tennessee. So that was a pretty long stretch. The original intention was to go from Georgia to Maine to the whole entire thing. Once they hit Tennessee, though, they were like, it's okay. Let's just skip to like Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. So they hopped a cab and took a cab to the stretch that we really wanted to hit, which was like this 108 mile stretch of the Appalachian Trail. It's like a really pretty stretch in Virginia. So they go and they finish that section. And then that was about summertime. I think they started in March. So it was early summertime at that point in time. For whatever reason, I can't remember, but they decided, let's take a break. So they went back to their houses and they agreed to reconvene in August when it was the hottest time of the year and be able to go through the Maine wilderness and finish the last couple hundred miles through the Maine wilderness, the Appalachian Trail, and call it a day. So they go back home. They learned a lot, obviously, in the first leg of that whole entire journey. I mean, they put in like 1,800 miles total out of the whole entire trail, I think is what they said at the end of it. So, they had learned a lot of lessons. They'd learned about their packs and the camping and meeting new people and all this other stuff. But they also learned like this shit sucked. That pack was heavy. They hated it. As soon as they took it off, they were like, oh, this feels so nice. And they went back home, right? So they get back to the main trail in August and they're both like, shit, I don't want to do this. I can't put this stupid pack back on my back. But they were like, we're here. Let's just try it. By the time that they had reconvened, they knew that they wanted to try to finish this stretch, but they weren't in the right place. They were frustrated. They were tired. They knew what they were getting ahead of them. It was August in Maine. It was really, really hot. There was bugs everywhere. And then they were about ready to enter probably the most dangerous stretch of the Appalachian Trail, where it's completely like in the wilderness. The last like couple 100 miles or whatever of the Appalachian Trail is like, there's no stops, there's no shelters, there's really not a lot of towns in between that whole entire stretch. So they would be completely isolated in the wilderness. And they're like, all right, let's just do this. So that first couple days they set out and they started fighting. I guess Katz had started drinking again or something like that. And there was some animosity between the two of them and things were breaking down a lot. And then Katz got lost. He doesn't like Bill. I can't remember exactly what happened, but Bill went off to go find something really fast off the trail and he came back and Katz had disappeared. And he spent the rest of the day trying to find him. He was like worried, they were in the backwoods. He was worried that he was dead. Luckily, they refound each other. I feel like it was like 24 hours later or something like that. And when they reconnected, they both kind of just looked at each other and they were like, okay. I wrote in the reflection, I was like, you could tell they were at the pain cave of this trip, right? Their backs were killing them. They were at that point in time with the ultra marathoners when they would go, okay, this is when the real race begins, right? And Bill and Katz like looked at each other and they're like, I'm done. Like, it's cool. Let's go home. They just quit. They went to the nearest town. They got a nice meal, and then they went home and they called it a day. But I remember at the end of it, the reason why this title, the reflection, is called We Tried, it's because, at the end of I remember Bill talking to Katz, after they said like, that's enough. The Katz turned to him and said, I don't know, we didn't really hike, or Bill said, I know we didn't really hike the Appalachian Trail like we had wanted to, but, he was like, no, we did. Like we shit in the woods. We camped all over the place. We walked 800 miles. He's like, we hiked the Appalachian Trail. And he was like, they hiked it, in my opinion, because they tried. You don't have to be, that was just a good reminder. You don't have to be, I feel like today in modern day society, we feel like we have to be super professional and trained and understand exactly all the ins and outs of everything that we're supposed to do and what we're getting ourselves into. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. Like, I don't want to go play tennis because I have no idea how to go do that. I don't want to go try these breathing exercises because I have no idea. I don't want to do meditation because, I haven't been training my whole entire life, or I don't want to, read because whatever, like, it's like we always feel like, we have to be like perfect at whatever we do. And this was just a great reminder of like, sometimes it's just okay to try. Even if you suck and you fail, you learn some lessons and you still accomplish something that was of note because you were being a human. You were getting out there and experiencing new things and trying new stuff. So that was the lesson that I took away from this book and the reflection of We Tried, right? So the question that I left was, when was the last new thing that you tried you seemingly had no business doing at all? Love to get your thoughts.
I mean, I think the Bill and Katz, I guess, mindset, it's more similar to mine. This is one of the reasons why I argue with you in terms of your core values. We want for company as quit. Quit is something that I don't think it's the same as enduring. Enduring is you do things because it's important to you. Quit is like, for me, like, I don't run for training. I just don't run for training. I'm going to make things easy for me, not harder. There's no reason why I should endure the thing just because everybody does it or everybody told me I need to do it. Right. So same thing with our workplace today. Our society tells you have to work, 40 hours a week. And then society in Japan tells you have to work 60 hours a week. And society in China and some part of the other countries say you have to work 80 hours a week. And you do it because you can, right? And right. To say, why do you torture yourself? Why do you torture yourself for things that's not important? Why are you hiking the Appalachian Trail if it wasn't the benefit you're looking for? I think the thing is, people say they fail, but I don't think they fail at all.
No, I agree.
They want to explore and they want to see what it was like to be hiking on the trail. They didn't say I have to finish it. Even if you do finish it,
Who cares?
anything new that you
Right.
learned,
Right.
they hike 800 miles, which is almost half of it. The other half is probably the same thing. They
Right.
shit in the wood, right? They knew the experience. So what's more for them to learn other than, because the thing is, if I'm asking you then, why did he decide to go on a trail in the first place?
They just wanted to learn and explore the.
I want to know what's like. So
Right.
did they fail?
No, they succeeded wildly in that. He wrote a book about it and shared it, and we're talking
Exactly.
about it.
So that's the thing is people misplace the context because you're looking at why do you I'm going to, this is what I'm saying yesterday about planning, right? I plan to go from Georgia to Maine, but no, don't halfway you have more information that comes into your mind, then those information give you a better judgment and better decision making because you never knew how heavy this luggage was. You never knew that the kind of food that you bring in, it wasn't what you wanted.
Right.
All these things changes, but because of new information, as a smart person, you should use the new information to make a new decisions, not continue on the old decision using the assumptions and premise that you thought it was
Right.
true. If you think about it, if you have, let's say among the 10 pieces of the puzzle, just look at a picture, you have 2 pieces and you use those 2 pieces of puzzle to decide whatever path or decision you want to make. You make that decision using those 2 pieces, but along the way, you found 6 more. So you have 8 of them, 4 more, and you have 6 of them, right? Now you have even a better picture of what the puzzle is going to show you. Would you be willing to change the decision based on, hey, you know, I think I was a little bit off on this, or I was way off on that. So
Right.
wouldn't you want to use the new data to make a better, more informed and accurate and more optimal decisions than you would have if I don't finish it, I'm a failure, I'm a loser. This is what people are trying to do to you in
Right.
terms of, you told me you were going to go hike the Appalachian Trail, but you didn't.
Yeah, you didn't finish it.
You are
800
losing.
miles.
So this is
Right.
800. I
That's a
can't even
lot.
drive. I
I know.
can't even drive 100 miles without like, dang, I don't want to do this. They
Hiking that.
hiked, right, on
Right.
foot with the heavy, whatever you call it, backpacks. You know?
Yeah.
800 miles. That is a feat.
That's
to
insane.
come.
I mean, I'm impressed. So a part of me goes, like, I think you've made a really, really, really important point of the pain cave. Like, you only endure the pain cave when it aligns 100% with your core being, right? Like, that's when you are willing to go through the pain cave, right? Like, you should never be willing to go through the pain cave once it hits. If this does, like,
The
look,
question is for what?
for what? Yeah, I mean, if
Right,
it's
and it's not a fictitious question. It's a serious question because I'll be okay with you go through the pain cave. Is there something that you want out of it? Maybe there's something that's more valuable to you, more power to you. Because for me is I will endure what I need to endure if whatever I'm
It matters.
after, it is important to me.
Right.
But if I go on a hike or I go run for a train, what am I doing for? If
Right.
I were to run across a 1 foot beam across 2 high skyscrapers, would I do that? Would I want to run across or walk across a beam, right? That is 1 foot, 2 foot or whatever across a 2 high building, like really tall building. Why
Right.
would I run across it? Unless there's something over on that side that's more important to me than my life.
right.
You say?
Otherwise,
So
there's
so it's
no
not
damn
about
way.
it's not about enduring and become successful and this and that. It's about what it is that is important to you for you to go and hit that pain cave and for you to endure. But if you don't need to, if you endure, I mean, you're just being dumb.
Just being
You're
stupid.
being
Yeah,
stubborn.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, my old job and my new job, right? Like a perfect example. I knew in my heart of hearts it was not worth going through the pain cave. The book called The Dip, right? That we'll
Mhm.
talk about in the future. I would call the dip the pain cave, right? Like when you start off any new activity, it's fun, it's exciting, it's new. And then you realize, oh, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And then you hit this point in time, you're like, man, this is a lot. And then you're like, what do I want to do here? Do I want to push through the dip to get back up to the top?
Mm.
That's the pain cave down here. That's when you decide whether you quit or you don't. When you hit that point in time is exactly what we're talking about right now. And, I'm only ever going to do that for something that I really freaking care about. And I knew that I did not really freaking care about my previous job. However, I found another opportunity where there is an opportunity for me to apply with stuff that I really love to do. That when I know that I'm going to hit that inevitable dip eventually in this role, it's going to be hard. I'm willing to go do that work because it aligns to what I care about. I'm already mentally prepared to go through the pain cave of this particular role that's coming up and the stuff that's going to be there because I know that I want to push through it because I know that it matters to me, right? I immediately went into that previous job and that I was coming from. I started it going, I'm not going to go through the pain cave. I didn't know what the words were.
Because there wasn't anything that for you valuable to you for you to keep an eye on it and say, well,
Right.
it's more important for me to get that than for me to go through the dip.
Exactly.
Because over there, there wasn't a clear picture of the thing that you want in the previous job. There was the pain cave, but you couldn't see clearly what you were getting.
Right.
But over here, you did see the end result that you want. And that to you is more important to you than enduring the pain cave. And to me, that's the value that we all do compare within ourselves. Say, what am I doing that's worth doing the things that I'm doing now? Whether that's, you're talking about some people, like a lot of people say, I don't like to exercise. But because having a healthy body, right, will give me a healthy mind,
Right.
That is a benefit that I really want. That is important to me. Therefore, I can endure the 20 reps, push-ups, or bench press, whatever it is. You endure those pain because that pain, that dip, is nothing compared to the reward you get at the end.
Right.
Where I don't want to be a sick and frail person that is aching all the time.
Where it just
Because
aligns,
you
and it
either
aligns
have
with your values.
pain today or you have severe chronic pain in the future, right? That's something
That's you talking. To be fair though, that's you talking. I know plenty of people that love smoking cigarettes so much they're like, I don't care. Like I'm willing to endure the pain cave of
I think
blood cancer.
I think it's not that they don't care. I guarantee you they care because they haven't got to the point where they are in pain. Okay. And they just in denial. If anyone tells you that I'm drinking alcohol because this is, life is supposed to be like this, I'm going to have sex with anyone and I want to smoke because life is like that. Because you haven't get to the point where like, your body is going to tear you apart, right? This is a point where you want to die, but you can't die. This is called suffering. And I can tell you for a fact, because I have diabetes, I can tell you a fact that nothing else matters. When you don't have peace of body, your mind is shit, your body is shit. It doesn't matter shit because you tell people who has HIV, go talk to the guy who in the hospital is breathing through the fucking oxygen. To me, anyone who tells you that is in denial because they have never gotten to that point. You get lung cancer, right? If you look at lung cancer and we have lung cancer, then you say, well, shit, it's too late. There's nothing more miserable than your body is aching all the time.
I agree.
So anyone who tells you that, like I say, this is a topic that for me, it's very important to me. Anyone tells you that, I'm going to tell you, like, if you want to listen, I will tell you. I'm not going to back down on my stand, right? If you don't want to listen, that's fine. I don't really care. But I'm telling you, if you're telling yourself that smoking and doing all this bad shit, it's because life is supposed to, there's what is to life, enjoy life a little bit. It's like you have no life to enjoy. That's why you say enjoy life a little bit. Because this thing will get to the point where you're going to be in pain. Just like somebody is in pain, you talk to anyone who got to that point, then they will have 100% change of heart. The people who haven't gotten there, they don't feel, just like I told you before, you talk about the red pill and the blue pill, right? You can't just take the red pill or the blue pill and say, okay, I know which one's better. You have to take both. So you cannot understand the pain unless you have the smoking and the pain. Because right now your decision is only halfway.
Yep. No,
You think, hey, I'm just gonna have a little bit of pain. No, it's just fucking miserable. You would rather die, right? You would rather kill yourself than to endure the pain. This is how tough it is. But the thing is, you have the body or conscience, whatever. You just can't commit suicide as easy as you would. But that's where you get to that point.
This is clearly why
do anything to get. I mean, Steve Jobs, like, have pancreatic cancers, right? He would do anything. He would go away all his fortune if he could to get himself healthy.
100%. This is clearly why this is a core value of yours, because you're very passionate about it. No, and I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. Obviously, I mean, we're in alignment for sure. You're right. They haven't hit the pain cave yet, and sadly, we all know, like, especially for smokers, when that pain cave comes, there is no getting through the dip. There is no going.
No, there's no good dip. It's all the way down, all the way down.
Right. You just don't even know that you're in the pain cave.
There's no dip. There's no getting out of it.
Right.
You basically free fall to the pit of hell.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're right. There is no dip with that activity, right? It is just down. And then you just, whenever you hit the bottom is when you hit the bottom, and there's no coming back up from it. And you're right.
There isn't the bottom, actually. There is no bottom.
Well, the bottom's, I guess, the end, right? Sure. Which you're totally right. I mean, I'm 100% in alignment with what you're saying.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, I mean, the thing is, when you have, like I say, don't listen to anyone who tells you how to treat diabetes or treat this or that, unless they had it. I can't and will not to even pretend that I can understand as much as you felt with your daughter. I will not do that, because I know for a fact that no one can understand me unless they have diabetes at the same severity as I have. And they know. The people who give you how to make money don't have money themselves. The people who tell you how to cure diabetes don't have diabetes themselves.
Right. There's no skin in the game.
They don't have the credentials.
Right.
The experience to tell you what's the difference. They cannot say the red pill is better or the blue pill is better unless they have both of it. Right? You have to be in the matrix and be outside to decide which one is better. You can't say, oh, in the matrix, outside. You don't know. You just don't.
I 100% agree with you. It's the skin in the game, right? If you don't have skin in the game, then how are you going to, like, even other traumatic events, and just because I have gone through a traumatic event doesn't mean I've gone through your traumatic event. Honestly, nobody can understand anything that other people have gone through until they've gone through it, and they still can't even really understand it, even if you've gone through something similar, because no similar situation's ever exactly the same as somebody else. And that's we've talked about these lessons. Treat others the way that they want to be treated, right? Like, listen and be empathetic.
You cannot understand theirs, and you can't say, hi, I understand how you feel, Chris. No. Sorry, Chris, I don't understand how you feel, but I'm here for you. That's the only thing you can do for that person.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%. Yeah. I mean, just be there and say, like, I'm here to talk and listen. I mean,
I can't understand it, and I will not pretend to. So I can't say, hey, I understand I understand how you feel, because that's just, to me, that's not even close.
No, it's not respecting other people's
unique
experiences either, and honestly, it's just disrespectful to them to think that you can, like, I don't mind somebody trying to help me problem solve something and troubleshoot it. But what I do mind is people trying to tell me that they understand what I'm going through. That
gives me a whole lot. Yeah. A lot of times they, like I say, they don't understand, but they don't have it. So they could never understand. Who the fuck are you?
Right.
You go into the dip, you get out of it, and then I'll listen to you. Don't. But that's the thing, is you don't ever take advice from a person about money if they haven't make money themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that.
You don't take, like, advice from a person how to cure, how to manage your diabetes unless they have diabetes worse than you.
Right.
I mean, it's just logical, don't you think?
I 100% agree. But yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting conversation, and it's a good reminder to just, experience life, try new things, figure out what you want to push that dip for, and go through fight through that pain cave for. And then when you're there,
don't do it. Good. I mean, you should.
Yeah. I mean, just turn around and go home, and it's okay.
Don't go up the river against the current, and you don't have to. Right. I mean, when you think about it, you look at, for example, look at Elon Musk, right? He wanted to build SpaceX. And he said, well, there's no private company that actually does space explorations. He's the one who said, this is the way things are, and this is how expensive it costs to build a rocket ship. And he said, should I do that because I have money? I have billions of dollars. I could actually do exactly what people are doing. This is how
Right.
much to get. This is what you do. This is the government. Like you get these big defense contractors to build you all this shit, right? He said, well, I don't have to because I don't need to. So he found another solution. That's what I'm
Right.
saying is if you don't have to go up the river, why are you trying to go up the river? Trying to figure out how to put the art of running downhill to your favor. So
Right.
you look at these things, unless there's something up the river and there's no other way, right? But you want to use your superpower, your brain, your creativity, your imaginations that is at your disposal to give you the life you should be enjoying versus trying to do all this where you are expected to follow through with the decision you make based on a bunch of assumptions. To me, it just not sound logical. I don't have the information. I make a guess, and now I'm being held to this commitment or whatever you call it. Otherwise,
What?
I'm a
Yeah.
failure.
Right.
And then you're gonna shame me into feeling bad, right? And depressed. This is how society works today. So you need to get out of that thinking. You can't continue to follow things through just because people expect you to. The question I'm going to ask myself is this what I want? Is this worth it? Is the end result worth what I need to do to go through this step? If not, then I'm going to orient myself, orient my environment so that I'm running downhill. I'm going down the river with the current versus the same thing with the wind, If the wind is going in your direction, put the sail. If the wind against the direction, take down the sail.
Right. You make a good point. You make me think of, I've been thinking about this for a while. Is it time to shut down these meetup group things?
Like I said, Meetup group has its benefits, but at the same time, if no one coming to you and with good books that is going to benefit you, why are you doing it?
I don't actually know how it benefits club either. Like, it's not like we don't really have a plan, but our idea doesn't really involve these people being a part of that either. It's more just an activity that we were trying out to see if we liked it. And we
We're
liked
on this Appalachian Trail at 800 miles. When we say, well, is it what we want? Yes, there is. The reason we tried it in the beginning is because we want to maybe be able to get people to get involved in company. Maybe they have some kind of quest that they're doing that we want to get them. But that's the thing is we are using limited data and information to determine whether or not these kind of company, potential company members come from these meetup groups, right? And that was the data we have. Now we have more data and say, well, these people are not the kind of people we want in company. Therefore, there is no need to continue to hike the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree.
But that's the thing is
yeah.
no regrets, because I think
Yeah.
what we know now that they are not there.
The activities were fun. I mean, the activities were a blast when we do it right. And I know that if we continue those activities with club members in the future, that it would be fun. It would still be fun.
Like it
would align.
We have the people that is on the same mission as you are.
Right.
And the love of learning is there. The other,
Right.
the other ones, like we have no idea if they are in the same mindset as we. And like I said, they just don't understand. If they don't understand, then it's harder for them to connect with us in terms of what we're trying to do. And we are inviting the wrong type of people to the group.
Yep. I think we should talk about this afterwards. I like this. This was a good conversation to say, like,
and this is for us to reaffirm our core values, right?
Right.
We know our core values, but then at sometimes we need to reaffirm them. Just because I know what mine are, but it doesn't get like a higher level when you don't talk it to someone. When you talk to someone, you know that this core value really, really means a lot to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the decision you make, so you are always expounding that core values and you limiting. The thing is, like, I see you, for example, you are more, as we talk more about these reflections that you have, right? You're more broader in terms of what you had as core values before, and you are picking up new core values just because we know more about ourselves today, more data points. And that gives us a better decision-making matrix to make the decision that fits the best with our personalities and character that we have.
Agreed. I mean, this is like, I know this seems crazy, but this journey of even just you and I talking through these things every single night, and aligning on where our shared visions are going. Like, we're doing a lot of work for Club and E right now. I know we don't know it, and that's not the intention, but we are. I know that we are, because like you can't, the amount of hours we put into discussing ideas and concepts and where we want this to go and not go, and who, how we want to live, not live, and how we want this ecosystem to work and not work, like, I mean, we are slowly but surely inching every single step of the way toward what we know that we can produce, and then it's worth pushing through the dip for, like, I mean, it's powerful. I appreciate you taking this journey with me. So I think it's a good place to stop. I don't know about you, but any final thoughts?
Yeah. Well, not much. Like I said, you have to orient yourself and figure out what's important before you go through the dip. Don't go to the dip for nothing.
When you hit a pain cave, spend some time reflecting. Like, that's when you really, when you know that you're doing it, try new things. Like, try new things. But don't ever stop yourself from trying.
Unless you know whatever is on the other side is worth it.
And that's when you need to pause, take some time, filter it through your values, your mission, your why, your purpose.
If you hate your job, I'm not saying to quit right now, but look.
Right.
That's it. I'm not asking you to do anything extravagant. I'm just saying, if you hate your job, why do you continue this job for the next 10 years? Well, maybe continue for the next 6 months, a year, maybe, but look for something that's more fitting for you.
Right.
Don't endure just because you can. Just because you're strong enough doesn't mean you should, carry the boulders or whatever on your shoulder versus, there's a cart right next to you. I'm just saying.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, great conversation. And the question we can leave with everybody is, what was the last thing that you tried that you seemingly had no business doing at all? And if you haven't done anything like that recently, then get out there and try it. Absolutely.
Because that's exploring, that's learning.
It's fun.
It's really fun. But like I say, you need to try, which is the best part, and then you need to stop. When you realize that's not what you're looking for, just stop. Try something else, because you're missing opportunities if you don't stop, because other opportunity would have given you more joy. You just say, hey, I enjoy this first half of it. The other half, I just don't care about. I already learned how to shit in the wood. I learned how to carry and hike, whatever.
I get
That's the experience I was looking for. It's time to stop.
Right. I agree. All right. Well, good chat. And thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow.
See ya.